Welcome to Macas Ecuador. In this video, we're glamping in the Amazon. Here is where we are staying. The next 2 nights, this is La Barca, or the boat. Look at all of this natural light right on the bed. No sleeping in here. And then we've got a jacuzzi, and you can see all of this just open. Head to the washroom. Very rustic, but beautiful. Look at that natural light coming in. They actually have some local wine produced in this province. It's our Merlot. You've got coffee, sugar, coffee maker. You do have Wi-Fi here. Just a little bit to know about glamping. They've given a little bit of information. And then you've got a mini bar, 2 free water, and then lots of other types of drinks, some beer, and then everything you kind of need. Wine, openers, all of that. And then as you look out, just surrounded by nature. So we arrived here just as it started pouring rain. So the nice thing is that the Barca has this covered patio or area, so we could just kind of sit out here and look out onto the rain. Now that the sun's going down, that means the rain has ended and the bugs are out. We saw a crazy looking grasshopper. And although we have bug repellent, I don't know how long we're going to be able to sit out here. Well, you can, because he's dressed properly with pants and a long sleeve shirt. I am not. Probably gonna have to put pants on. But you can hear like the sounds starting to change. We've heard what we think might be tree frogs, more birds, some bugs. It's pretty cool. So many noises around here. Good morning. I woke up with the light, not the sun, the light. I always tend to wake up when sun rises or when the light comes out. And then this place, I knew last night I would not be able to sleep in because you've got this gorgeous skylight above you, big window behind you, all of these windows right here. It was really, really nice. Now it's the rainy season and we're in the rainforest, so I expect some rain. But the weather is still actually quite nice. Here I would say it's humid, but it's not hot. The same thing for Walaquiza. It was really nice though because there's so much that's screen. So you've got the big front screen and then on the sides here. So we kept everything open and then you basically sleep to the sounds of just this forest around you. So today we're actually staying here. So Macas Glamping invited us for the first night, but I wanted to stay a second night so we wouldn't have to rush this experience. So we're moving from La Barca and we're heading on over to La Barbuja. And so right now I have on sports sandals, but I'm definitely changing them. Andreas has reminded me a couple times that in the Amazon there are things they don't want to kill you, but they could kill you. And one of those things that are more common are snakes. And so they don't want to be around you. Usually they're camouflaged. So the problem is that you could be stepping on leaves or grass or something and not even realize you're stepping on a snake. And that is where the problem is. And so right after breakfast, I am changing into closed-toed shoes. Breakfast is included, and when they said breakfast was included, I had no idea it would be all of this, that we would have fruit, granola, yogurt, house-made bread. We've got some eggs and cheese and ham. We've got organic coffee, guava juice that is very typical of here. We've got milk. Oh, it's warm. That's from here. And then also locally made preserves and butter. So they really try to make this a
self-sustaining place. They're trying to, not only with breakfast, but they also offer lunch and dinner if you want to eat here, and for those things to be as much as possible from here. So you've got some geese, they've got some dairy cows, they've got a garden. It's really quite lovely. And then also they gave us a tip on the coffee if we want to buy local coffee. Apparently there's this shop in town that's got some fantastic stuff, so we're going to check that out as well. But just really so lovely here. La burbuja, or the bubble. It's really warm in here because you have all this natural light. So they've given us an air conditioner. This is a queen bed. You've got plugs, lights, and then when we come into here, this is the washroom. Again, tons of light here. The shower, everything. So there are 2 bubbles here, and this is really for families. So you can have, it's booked as 1. So if you've got kids or single friends, you could have the 2 twins, or if you want, they can put it together. So it's 2 couples. Then we have this outdoor space, which is really lovely. Again, I love these lights that they use here. And if you thought, oh no, there's no jacuzzi, well, just wait, because there is one, and it's outside. How cool is that? With this view. Burbuja, or the bubble, overlooks a lagoon, and they have boats and also life jackets if you want to take a quick trip around the lagoon. Alright, so this is actually quite good because you're really low in the boat, so falling over would be very difficult. It looks...
It's not like life-threatening.
No, it's not life-threatening. This is a small lagoon. You will be okay. Well, that was fun. We are not the most graceful rowing a boat, but we did have fun doing it. So this lagoon is actually quite shallow and it's not very big. So if you're someone that's not comfortable on water, this is a really good place to do it. Also, that boat, you're really in there deep. There is no chance of you falling out of it for sure. The hardest part of it for us was just to stay in the center so we could shoot some drone footage. But other than that, we laughed at how bad we were. It was fun. So when it is not raining, you can definitely do this. There are also some hiking opportunities. So far, so good with the weather. I think it starts to rain later during the day. And then all of the places we've noticed, they have that overhang. So because we are in the Amazon, the rainforest, they are counting on it may rain during part of your visit. So they have this outdoor space that's covered. So you don't have to worry. You can still relax, enjoy. If you're Andreas, chasing birds, it's been really nice. All right, so we're going for a walk. It's 2:30 right now. It's warm. I will say this. One of the things that I find challenging here is that you really do need to be fully covered. So I've got yoga pants on, my hiking shoes, socks. It's hot. And then also, I don't have long sleeve shirts, but I did have this short sleeve shirt. Originally I had black on, but Andrea said actually bugs prefer black because they're trying to go like into a hole. So now I have this bright orange one, almost fluorescent, but I find actually in video it comes off as coral. And then he said that's not good because it'll scare away the birds. But birds are bright colors, so they should be attracted to me. Anyway, not gonna let it stop us. We're gonna go for a walk, see how long it is. I've got about an hour in me, to be honest. Any more than that, I think I'm gonna get thirsty and tired. But this is such a gift to have this weather. You know, we are in rainy season. Yesterday was completely rainy, and then today it's all blue skies, so can't pass up a gift like this. So the walk here is to the end of the property and back?
But he mentioned that this tree right here is the one that we collect the leaves and we make tea with it. It's called the guayusa tree.
That's the Guayusa tree.
Yeah, we saw it at the Gualajisa market.
Oh,
It's
we
like
need to try that.
Yeah, it's tasty. Yeah, you'll
I
like
want
it.
to try it.
Yeah.
I love tea. Minutes along the path. We've already kind of gone off it just to look at random things, fruits and vegetables that they're growing here. And then I can see Andreas over there. I can hear so many birds and I think he's seen a bunch of them, which I know that means for me not to go over there because it'll scare them. But that's also why I like when we say, oh, let's go for a walk, let's go for a hike. Unless we're doing something like Kilatoa or Kaha, something like that, it usually means like, let's just wander around and look at things. That's the best type to spend outside, especially right here because there's so much shade. It's definitely above 30 degrees right now, so I'm hot. Dogs scare away birds. Here's the dog. There's Andreas. And here it's so hard to see the birds because in the Amazon, the trees are so tall, and so the birds love to be up top. So to see them is tough. That I have really started to enjoy about this tour of the Amazon towns and cities versus going on one of the jungle tours is that you really get to see how people live. You know, we've been into the grocery stores and been around towns, been to the markets, and just to see like what is life like if you live here in the Amazon. Now, I know I'm gonna love going to one of the jungle tours, like going to a lodge. You know, you go out at night and they show you all the spiders and the snakes and the things that could kill you. But this kind of tour for me really helps kind of put the pieces together because, you know, I've been to the Andes north and south and the coast north and south, and, you know, you start to see how people live, how do they buy their groceries, like how do things get done. And then the Amazon, everybody just thinks of as the jungle. But we forget that a lot of people live in the Amazon. They live in towns and cities and live, you know, very typical lives. Not everyone is living, you know, out in the jungle in a life that is so different from our own. Here, it feels very familiar, but in a different country. And here's another fun fact. Did you know that 61% of people who watched my last video are not subscribed? So if you're not subscribed, I would love it if you would. I'm going to continue this Amazon series and we'll have so much more about Ecuador. And if you have subscribed, let me know in the comments below if you have been to the Amazon, and if you haven't, if what I've shown you so far has surprised you. Can you see all of these ants working together picking up things? It looks like they're picking up leaves. They're dry leaves to build something. Look at this big guy, just carrying like a huge leaf to himself. Okay, they're coming from two different directions. I want to get close, but not too close. So we realize we have actually done a loop, and we are, well, right behind me, we were on the other side of the lagoon. And so Andreas found this spot that had so many birds that he really wanted to get, but he hadn't had any luck. Now I know from what he says, for bird watchers, they can stand in one spot for hours and hours and hours just waiting for that shot. I cannot. So I told him to enjoy, not to feel pressure, but I was coming back to the dome, or to the bubble. So it is 5 o'clock. That means it's time for some wine. Yeah, it's been chilling in the fridge, and I have spicy plantain chips, which is like the perfect way to spend happy hour. So Andreas came back to get a charger, so I have a feeling he's going to be out for a while, which is fantastic. Like, I want him to see all of the beautiful birds here. You know, it's exciting for me when he sees things that he hasn't seen before, because it's not just like me doing things for the first time, but him as well. But I want to give you the lowdown on all of the glamping places, because here Macas Glamping has several styles of glamping. And so last night we were in La Barca, so that was amazing. That is my favorite. And that's because it had this big indoor living space. So at night when the bugs started to come, we actually had like somewhere to sit inside, a couch. We watched some Netflix. And then it also has the jacuzzi inside, which is pretty cool. And it also has a big bathroom and just the front area. The whole thing was so lovely. I would have stayed there 2 nights if I could have. That said, you are a little bit more enclosed. The trees are more around you. And so when we moved here to La Burbuja, or the bubble, there are 2 bubbles here, and the reason is if you're a family, or say you're traveling with friends, you can get both of them. There are 2 twin beds in the other room that you can move together. And then you've got this outdoor space. There are so many butterflies and insects, and this definitely feels a little bit more like you're out in the middle of nowhere, also because you're at the top, so you literally don't hear anyone else. You don't hear the highway. The other ones are a little bit closer, and so you do hear that a little bit. So I really love this part of it. Like, I definitely feel like I'm out there. And then we also saw the pyramid. So the pyramid, I think, ties with the bubble for me. So the pyramid is this glass triangle. The bed is inside, also with air conditioning, because I'm sure it is hot in there. And then what they have is this cool outdoor swing that you can sit on. They have a fire pit, which I think would be awesome. For me, I didn't miss not having a dome on top of La Barca, just because you do have like that huge skylight. So I actually thought the La Barca was the best. But they all are so nice, just really beautiful experiences. And I think because we've stayed 2 nights, that really has made the difference. I think it was good to pay for the second night, because we got to spend time in the lagoon. We were able to walk around, relax. We weren't rushing things. So I would recommend 2 nights to stay here if you can.
We arrived in the rain, and now we're leaving in the rain. I guess that's what happens when you stay in the rainforest during rainy season. But I am so thankful for that patch of sun yesterday. That was beautiful. And actually last night when it was pouring down, it was really nice to sleep to. Now, we're not leaving Macas yet. We're actually heading into town. So stay tuned for the next video where we explore Macas Ecuador, the town, and probably some waterfalls too. We'll see. Join my Patreon community for more behind the scenes and exclusive content you won't find elsewhere. You can also find me on Instagram, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. All of these things make my day. Thank you so much for your support.